Thank you for attending my second podcast. This is Conversations for College Success. If you have any questions during or after, don't hesitate to send them to conversationsforcollegesuccess@hotmail.com. The topic today is career fairs. The reason being, if your college has not already had one, a college career fair will be coming up very, very soon. They start anywhere between mid-September through October. That would be considered the fall career fair. Oftentimes, universities have two, which means there will be a spring career fair. You need to attend both. Whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, you need to attend both, especially because some organizations only attend one of the two. A number will attend both, but you don't want to miss an opportunity. Why are you attending a career fair? Before you graduate, you should participate in at least one either co-op or internship. That gives you information and experience within your field, which makes you a more marketable candidate upon graduation. That's why it's important for freshmen, sophomore, juniors, as well as seniors. Seniors, however, should be looking for full-time employment upon graduation, and you will be a better candidate if you have completed at least one internship or co-op. Now, the words internship and co-op are used interchangeably, but they are two different things. An internship is a one-time opportunity at an organization. It typically happens over the summer. However, they can have an opportunity in the fall or spring. Co-ops are alternating fall and spring, which means one semester you're in school, the second semester you're at a particular organization location. The next semester you're in school, the next semester you're also at a location. And the rationale behind that is by the time you graduate, provided you're doing a co-op, you will have 1 or more years of experience under your belt already. What that means, though, is that you're no longer graduating with potentially the 4-year time frame. You're graduating in year 5 or 6. But you're graduating in year 5 or 6 with experience in your career field. The other reason you want to do a co-op or internship is to make sure that that is the career field that you want to pursue, or there may be an adjustment here or there. Now, career fairs can be university-wide, which means they're open to everyone who attends the university. In addition, though, an individual college can also have a career fair, which would be potentially the College of Business, the College of Engineering, the College of Health, or the College of Education. Those are just samples. Any individual college within your university can have a career fair. The ones I'm predominantly talking about are the university-wide. However, the information applies no matter which career fair you attend, and you should attend all of them. So if there's a university one, attend that one. If there's one also specific to your major or career field, attend that one as well. The more experience you get, the more comfortable you are. What do you need to attend a career fair? You need a resume, typically 1 page for college students, maximum 2 pages, whether you're a college student or not. Having said that, though, you'll also need to have an elevator pitch or a self-introduction. And then you will also need to have 1 or 2 questions that you can ask if there's time to ask those questions. Now, there's also additional preparation besides your resume, elevator pitch. You also need to do your homework on the organization. What does that mean? You need to go to their website, look at 1 or 2 things that they are known for or they are most proud of, and be aware of them. The other understanding is, what do they do? You don't want to walk up to a company and say something that is inappropriate because it's not what they do. That's why doing your homework becomes important. You are having your first introduction to an organization, and they will be evaluating you not only on your appearance. So if you have a suit, that's preferred. If you don't have a suit, then dressing professionally, nice white shirt or blouse, and a nice pair of slacks. Dress slacks for a male, or dress skirt for a female, or even dress slacks for a female as well. All of these things are important because you are making a first impression, and your first impression oftentimes is a lasting impression and what the employer will walk away with. A couple of other things. The employer will oftentimes ask you to apply online. That is typically the next step in the process. Some students don't do it because they feel like they're being blown off. No, the employer wants you within their system so they can find you, know that they have your hard copy resume, and then move you forward or move you along. What does the move you along mean? That means you will typically get a phone interview. And after the phone interview, you can either have a Zoom interview or potentially an in-person interview. Again, you want to make sure that you've done your homework. For the phone interview, you might have 1 or 2 questions. For the Zoom or in-person interview, I always request that students complete 10 to 12 questions. People wonder, why are you asking for so many questions? Invariably, during the interview, and we are now, whether it's in-person or Zoom, they will answer half of the questions that you've written down. Most students, even some adults, are not quick enough on their feet to think of a follow-up question. So what you want to do is have 10. If they've answered 5, great, you still have 5, have 12. If they've answered 6, you still have 6 to ask. Rationale behind that: employers are not impressed when students do not have questions for them. A number of employers have shared that they won't even consider the person a candidate if there are no questions. They've done their homework, they've done research on you, they have questions for you. They want you to show that you have the same level of interest in them that they have in you. None of those things are too much to ask for a student. From that perspective, it shows that you are just as interested in them as they are in you. Now, how do I know that there's a career fair? Every university has at least one. Oftentimes they have 2, fall and spring. You should have received an email in your box, but we know that students do not always read all the emails in their box because you get a ton of them. Having said that, look for one that's come from your career services department, or you can go directly to their website and find out when they're having their career fair. Hopefully it's upcoming and you have time to prepare and get ready. In the event it is just passed, contact the career services department or go online, because what you're going to have to do is see what organizations are coming. That's how you do your research. They will tell you who's coming. You go to that employer's website and, as I mentioned before, find 1 or 2 things that they are known for or proud of. You can share that with them because you need to know what they've done. But you also need to look to see what types of positions are available, because you should be able to share what position you are most interested in. However, you'd probably be open to any position that they had available that they would consider you for, which would be great. They're all things to help you moving forward. And yes, freshmen, you should be going to the career fair. Even if you're not as polished as you need to be, I think the experience is important for you to have, and it becomes less intimidating the following semester as well as the following years that come through. Another set of information that I think is really, really important and can help you to be successful, and that is, if there are 10 organizations that you want to talk to at the career fair, there's probably 5 that you're really, 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 really interested in. If you got them, you would be over the moon. Or there's 5 that, well, if you can't get your top 5, the second 5 will do. When you go to talk to those employers, talk to your second 5 first and the most important 5 last. There's a purpose behind doing that. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to you might fumble a little bit over your words. You do not want to do that in front of the employer that's most important to you. You want to do that in front of an employer that, if you flub a little bit, not big deal, because if you don't get it, you won't be that necessarily heartbroken. You don't want to do that for an employer that's most important to you. By the time you've done your first 5 with employers that will be okay if you got, you will be so much more sharper and self-confidence for the 5 that you really, really want to go after and nail. That is how to make that very, very successful for you. The other point I would like to make is the university picks the day, whenever it is, whether it's the university-wide or the one specific to your individual college or major. It doesn't matter. You're going to have classes most days. It is up to you to figure out how to get there. There are usually a few hours, 9 to 2, 10 to 3. It could even be in the afternoon for that matter. Whatever the time frame is, you need to make sure that you have time to go. So if there's an hour in between your classes, or if there's a couple hour break in between your classes, you make sure you go there and you introduce yourself and talk to the employers that are there. Again, even if you're a freshman, the experience is important for you to have. Now, remember I said you need to have a resume, you need to have an elevator pitch or an self-introduction. Those are things that if you do not already know how to do them, and a number of students will not, there's no problems going to Career Services Department and requesting their assistance. They can help you with your resume. They can help you with self-introduction. You can go to an employer's website yourself and see what is important, but you might ask them what they know about the individual employers. Oftentimes they do have background information, etc., and know people within the organization. That information can help you to be more successful with a specific employer. The areas that I spoke about in particular, business, engineering, as well as healthcare, tend to be the areas with which Northeast Ohio, or Ohio for that matter, has outstanding employers available to you. So you want to make sure we have the top 3 hospitals, definitely within the country, and definitely within Ohio when you're looking at Cleveland Clinic, University Hospitals, as well as Metro Health. Having said that, though, there are a lot of other Fortune 500 employers within Ohio. So you want to make sure that you're prepared and you are putting your best foot forward so that you have the opportunity to make a best first impression. If you do not have a suit, I think I already mentioned that you can wear a white blouse, a white shirt for a young man with a nice tie, as well as dress slacks, or for a female, she wants to wear a dress skirt. Oftentimes, your professors are not necessarily going to let you out of class early. You can ask. Oftentimes, they won't, and particularly if there's an exam. But as I mentioned, you can either go first thing in the morning when they open, which is before your classes start, or you can go the last hour, or you can go in the middle over the lunchtime. Know that it will be crowded. There will be students there the entire time. Most students will be aware of it and plan for it. That's why I want to make sure that you're aware so that you can plan for it, get yourself prepared for it, and move forward. The first experience will be very, I don't want to call it overwhelming, but surprising to you at the number of employers that are at your university. They are looking for students to hire. You will be one amongst many. If you put your best foot forward, you will be one amongst those that are asked to interview. Reminder, you want to make sure that if they ask you to apply online, you do and complete that process. That way they can link the resume they have in hand of you with your online information and they can follow up with you. Usually what comes first is a phone interview, which is a screening process to make sure that you'll fit their qualifications. And then the second will either be a Zoom interview or potential in-person interview. All those things you need to be aware of so you can put your best foot forward. The other thing that I would like to share is you should make sure, if you have one, I'll call it a professional portfolio. The professional one has hardcover front and back. There is a place for you to put a tablet of paper inside, and hopefully it's an 8.5 by 11, as well as you can have your resumes to the left side in a little pouch folder that you can stick them in. If you don't have a professional portfolio, that's okay. What you can do is get one of those 2 pocket folders, and you can have, again, your sheets of paper or even your tablet of paper on one side that has your questions for the employer as well as information about the employer. You want to know what they do before you talk to them. On the other side can still be your copies of resumes. As you move forward and become more professional, you will eventually either be given or potentially receive a professional portfolio that you can take with you on interviews and make a very positive impression on the employers. Sometimes colleges and universities give them out as graduation gifts, or they may give them out as potential prizes or things along that line. So if you can get your hands on one, that's excellent. Again, should you have any questions, don't hesitate to send them to conversationsforcollegesuccess@hotmail.com. Thank you so much for attending the Career Services podcast, and I'll be talking to you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.